Tesla Cybertruck spotted with its massive frunk open. A new set of spy photos shows the upcoming Tesla Cybertruck's front trunk open, confirming once again that the all-electric pickup will have a front trunk that opens in a similar way to the Ford F-150 Lightning. Posted on the Cybertruck Owners Club forum by the user Marcus NZL. The photos were shot in New Zealand at the Southern Hemisphere Proving Grounds SHPG, where the electric truck was shipped earlier this month, presumably for final winter testing before the start of deliveries in the third quarter of this year. As you can see, the frunk opening includes the daytime running lights that are embedded at the top of what would be the radiator grille on an internal combustion vehicle, leaving only the main beam headlights visible in the front bumper below. Wearing a military-like camouflage that was spotted about a week ago on a prototype that was cruising in Palo Alto, California. The Cybertruck prototype that was snapped while being unloaded from a truck is clearly not quite ready for prime time yet, as it doesn't appear to have a plastic shroud to cover up the internal components. However, with an opening as big as this, it looks like it will be a breeze to load up the frunk, even with heavy items. We still don't know how big the front storage compartment will be, but it should be more spacious than that found on the Model Y given the size difference between the two vehicles, compared to the Ford F-150 Lightning, which has conventional headlights mounted on the front corners of the truck. The Cybertruck's hood seems to be wider, thanks to its clever use of an LED light bar and a pair of hidden headlights. After deliveries of the much-anticipated Tesla pickup start sometime in the third quarter, we'll know more about it and will be able to better understand how it stacks up against the competition, namely, the Lightning, the Rivian R1T, and the Hummer EV. As always, we'd like to know what you think about this, so head over to the comments section below to give us your thoughts. Source: reposted and summarized from Yulia Nistrin at Inside EVS. Tesla Cybertruck looks production ready in Peterson Museum visit. The Tesla Cybertruck appears to have stolen the show at the inaugural Electrified Cars and Coffee Meet at the Peterson Automotive Museum on Sunday. The all-electric pickup truck, which looked practically production-ready, was driven to the event by Tesla chief designer Franz von Holzhausen. Videos and photos of the all-electric pickup truck at the Peterson Museum were shared in social media platforms on Sunday. Being one of the most highly anticipated vehicles today, it was no surprise that the Cybertruck attracted the most attention from attendees. The fact that the Tesla chief designer was driving the vehicle was icing on the cake. As noted by the Peterson Museum in its announcement, von Holzhausen was a special guest at the inaugural Electrified Cars and Coffee Meet. The Tesla chief designer was also the host for the first EV-only cruise-in of the Peterson. Photos and videos taken by the electric vehicle community of the all-electric pickup truck suggest that the Cybertruck, which was brought over to the Peterson Museum, may have been a production candidate. The fit and finish of the vehicle was notably refined, and its interior looked fully built. A number of EV enthusiasts even observed that the Cybertruck seemed to have ventilated seats. Cybertruck cameras have the red tint to them. Apart from its fit and finish and interior, other details of the Cybertruck stood out. Its cameras were observed to have a red tint to them, suggesting that the vehicle was equipped with Tesla's Hardware 4 computer. A camera placed on the front bumper also had a slot placed above it, possibly as a way to wash the sensor in the event that it gets caked with dirt or mud. This is either a spray nozzle for cleaning the camera or an access point to replace it if needed. I'm betting it's just an access point, but could be wrong. Interestingly enough, the Cybertruck's bed, or vault, appears to have been changed from its initial iteration. A slot close to the tailgate suggests that the Cybertruck will have outlets in its bed. though the outlets themselves were not present in the vehicle. And unlike the original prototype from late 2019, the Cybertruck that was brought over to the Peterson Museum featured a charge port on its rear fender. Much like the original Cybertruck prototype, however, the vehicle brought over to the Peterson Museum featured a charge port with a cool Easter egg: a lighted Cybertruck logo on top of the pickup truck's NACS port instead of the traditional Tesla logo. Source: reposted and summarized from Simon Alvarez at Teslarati. Tesla initiates recall for Model 3 and Model Y over pyrotechnic battery disconnect issue. Tesla has initiated a recall for the Model 3 and Model Y over a potential fault in the affected vehicle's pyrotechnic battery disconnect. Unlike previous recalls from the electric vehicle maker, this particular issue would not be fixed through an over-the-air software update. As noted in a safety recall report from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration (NHTSA), about 26 Model 3 and Model Y units from the 2023 model year are affected by the recall. An estimated 2% of the potentially affected vehicles are likely fitted with the faulty component. The NHTSA document outlined the issue with the affected Model 3 and Model Y's pyrotechnic battery disconnect. Tesla vehicles are equipped with a pyrotechnic battery disconnect that isolates the high voltage HV battery when the vehicle detects certain collisions or specific issues within its HV battery. Affected vehicles may have been manufactured with a non-functioning pyrotechnic battery disconnect, the document read. Tesla initially identified a non-functioning pyrotechnic battery disconnect during a validation test on April 20, 2023. An investigation about the issue was initiated by both Tesla and the supplier, Joyson Safety Systems, on April 26, 2023. The supplier then sent additional pyrotechnic battery disconnects from its new production line on May 5 since the investigation at the time did not indicate that additional units were affected with the same fault. In late May, both Tesla and Joyson completed their investigation, with both companies determining that one faulty pyrotechnic battery disconnect, discovered on April 20, ended up being shipped to Tesla. This was reportedly due to a gap in Joyson's traceability systems. Tesla then proceeded to conduct a risk assessment before filing a voluntary recall to address the issue. No warranty claims or field reports related to the issue have been reported to the EV maker. Considering that this recall involves faulty hardware, Tesla would not be fixing the issue through an over-the-air software update. Instead, Tesla service would replace the pyrotechnic battery disconnect on the affected vehicles at no cost to the customer. Source: reposted and summarized from Simon Alvarez at Teslarati. Charin aims to submit Tesla NACS to standardization process. Charin, a global association promoting interoperability based on CCS, as the global standard for charging vehicles, has taken a step toward Tesla's NACS adoption. Charin convenes an open task force to align requirements with the goal of submitting NACS to the standardization process. Tesla NACS becomes the new charging standard for e-versus. In November 2022, Tesla unveiled its charging standard, calling it the North American Charging Standard (NACS). This name was chosen due to the fact that more than 60% of electric vehicles in the U.S. are Tesla cars. In addition, the company has the widest charging infrastructure, providing the largest number of charging connectors in North America. Naturally, this really makes the Tesla charging standard the North American Charging Standard, as it is a simple statement of fact. Charin aims to submit NACS to the standardization process. Recently it became known that Charin, a global association promoting interoperability based on the Combined Charging System (CCS), as the global standard for charging vehicles, has invited cross-industry experts to discuss NACS. In particular, Charin convenes an open task force to align requirements with the goal of submitting NACS to the standardization process. On Tuesday, the association announced that cross-industry experts from 51 of the companies will join the first meeting. At the end of May, Ford announced it was accepting NACS. Following him, in June, GM and Rivian announced a similar move. Vehicles from these manufacturers will be able to charge at more than 12,000 superchargers in North America. Starting in 2025, their electric vehicles will be produced with a new charging port. Many manufacturers of charging equipment have already announced that they will begin production of charging stations with NACS connectors. Volkswagen delays response to NACS transition. Volkswagen has so far completely refrained from commenting, and is not on the Charin's list of companies that will meet to discuss NACS. It is worth noting that the American subsidiary of Volkswagen operates its own network of charging stations in the U.S. with CCS connectors, Electrify America. Perhaps the company is weighing options for future development. However, it is worth noting that the NACS transition process in North America is already well underway. Any delay could cost Volkswagen a decline in sales across the region. Source: reposted and summarized from Eva Fox at Tasmanian. Tesla battery supplier CATL makes Time's 100 Most Influential Companies 2023. Tesla battery supplier contemporary Amperex technology company CATL made it to Time's list of 100 Most Influential Companies 2023. The China-based company has become one of the biggest names in the battery supply chain and continues to innovate despite its success. Based in Fujian, China, contemporary Amperex technology company CATL is the world's largest EV battery maker and the one to beat in battery tech. This spring, it started mass producing the new Charin battery, which can extend EV range to 600 miles on a single charge, said the Times piece. Tesla is tapping partners from Asia to boost its 4,680 battery cell ramp. Last year, CATL launched Charin, the third generation of the company's cell-to-pack CTP technology. The company claims its Charin battery has record-breaking volume utilization efficiency of 72% and an energy density of up to 255 watt-hours per kilogram. CATL stated that the Charin battery can deliver around 620 miles of range. In April, it unveiled new technology for a semi-solid-state lithium battery. It says will store nearly twice as much energy as the best ones on the market today, further expanding EV range and bringing electric passenger planes closer. Most groundbreaking innovations come with caveats that commercial development is years off. But CATL says this one will be in production in 6 months, Time magazine noted. The Chinese battery supplier is expanding production in China by constructing another cell manufacturing facility outside of Shanghai. In March 2023, CATL reported its 2022 earnings, revealing that the company significantly increased its overall income compared to the prior year. Source: reposted and summarized from Maria Morano at Teslarati. Tesla confirms production target of 50,000 semi per year. Tesla confirms a production target of 50,000 semi-trucks a year. Meanwhile, the company is demanding tougher environmental regulations for trucks from the Environmental Protection Agency (EPA). Tesla called on the Biden administration to finally approve significantly stricter limits on heavy-duty vehicle emissions than were proposed in April, according to Reuters. The company claims that larger vehicles are electrifying much faster than anticipated. and this will result in greater emissions reductions. In comments posted Tuesday on the EPA proposal, Tesla said the requirements should be as strict as California's truck emissions regulations. The company also said it needed to eliminate credits that make it easier to comply. Tesla urged the EPA to actively embrace a more rapid transition to battery electric vehicles, adding the time for doing so is now. The manufacturer also wrote that if the EPA rule is not tightened, it will not be able to put the heavy-duty sector on the path to full electrification or sufficiently reduce emissions in the U.S. and therefore would not meet the legal benchmark of the Clean Air Act to protect the nation's public health and welfare. In April, the EPA said it estimated that by 2032, 50% of new professional vehicles such as buses and garbage trucks should be electric vehicles. In addition, 35% of new short-haul freight tractors and 25% of new long-haul freight tractors should go electric. The medium-duty vehicle regulation is forecast to reduce emissions by 44% compared to 2026 requirements. The EPA says its heavy-duty proposal would result in net benefits ranging from $180 billion to $320 billion, and is projected to avoid 1.8 billion tons of CO2 through 2055. In its comments on this, Tesla cited its semi-production in support of tighter emissions regulations. The company noted that it anticipates production levels of its Class 8-day cab tractor at 50,000 per year, with significant production volumes beginning in late 2024. Reaching the 50,000 annual production level would amount to 20% of all annual sales in model year 2027. This means Tesla's production goal alone would far exceed the 5% EV sales deployment EPA anticipates in 2027, Tesla wrote, noting other companies are planning to build heavy-duty EVs. Conversely, the American Trucking Associations, an industry group, said Tuesday in comments that the EPA's proposal is too aggressive and relies on technology that is at early stage and lacks the real-world demonstrated maturity compared to proven internal combustion engine vehicle ICEV technologies. Source: reposted and summarized from Eva Fox at Tasmanian.